And I guess my question to you, and you can use the chat, is let's start with the birth parent. How did the birth parent respond to you when you decided to become a caregiver? How did they respond to you when you took their child into your home? So I want you to go back. I'm probably taking quite a few further, very far back. But think about that moment when they came in, when the decision was for them to stay. How did the birth parents feel about you now raising their child? If you could take a few minutes to write down one or two sentences, and Candy, if you could just read that back, would appreciate it.
Okay. Okay, let's start with Tawny. She says, grateful and resentful at the same time.
Ooh.
Caroline responded with anger. Cindy, resentment. Kelly, the birth parents were angry. Carmen, initial anger, thankful for a while, and then resentful as it went longer term. Thankful that the child was not going into the system, but that feeling did not last long. That was from Deborah. And Diane said, my son was angry when I got custody of his son from a court decision. Now, 8 years later, he is thankful.
Wow. All right. Go ahead, Candy.
Yep, that's all of them.
That's great. I said the word great because you get to see the spectrum of responses. And what I didn't expect in your responses is how that the same person could be on a roller coaster and how those feelings could change over time. And I think that's really what the message is, that you can have the same person have multiple feelings over time and how it can change from resentment to, in that example we had, 8 years later, an appreciation. Let me ask again a question of the caregivers in the audience. How did other family members feel about you now becoming a kinship caregiver? Because you're right, we just talked about the birth parents. Now add to those feelings the feelings of other family members, and let's see what that's like. How do other family members feel about the children coming into your care?
Carmen responds, very thankful, appreciative, and helpful.
Okay.
Deborah responds, my oldest son was not happy as he felt I was enabling my daughter to live a carefree life. Tawny was responds with very appreciative. And Kelly says, some were very angry at me for taking the children. Others were grateful and happy that the kids would be looked after family. And Cindy responds, my son was angry with my daughter, birth parent, for putting me in the position that I had to now take care of my granddaughter.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. For caregivers, for professionals listening to this video and listening to this presentation, I think it's very important that you understand that caregivers catch it from everybody, not just the birth parent. They can also get the feelings from family members, extended family members, and you need to prepare the caregivers for this barrage of feelings and this roller coaster of feelings, because if you don't, these are not just clinical issues. These are issues that can cause caregivers to say, hey, I wasn't ready for this. I can't handle this. Come and get it. So these are not just clinical issues. These are issues that result in disruption. These are permanency issues. So for those professionals in the audience, please take family dynamics serious. And again, you don't get this from, and it is probably also very new for those in the professionals listening to this as well, because you don't get this from foster parents and adoptive parents. There's no pre-existing relationship. There's no change in the pre-existing relationships that result in all of these feelings. There's no change in pre-existing roles that result in them experiencing these feelings. For the foster parent, they clearly start off as a foster parent who knows nothing and had no previous relationship with the birth parent. Adoptive parent knows nothing about the family and had no previous relationship. In kinship care, they do. And they have to make these changes, and there's feelings that go along with the changes. And if you do not prepare relative caregivers for this, you may have a potential disruption on your hands just because of the shock and the trauma of family responses to the caregiver's decision to care for the child. So that's the message and the lesson for professionals that might be watching this. For the caregivers, what we now have to talk about is how do you help the family adapt to the changes? And it starts with number one, anticipating it. If you notice, I started off with saying, map your family. You need to do the dyad work that I did in the video. You need to look at how family members are going to be feeling and responding. But here's what I'd like to ask you, and this is another response that I'd like to respond to this question in the chat. I want you to think about all the people that have helped you care for the children that you now have in care. I want you to think of your family members. I want you to think of your friends, extended family that have helped you in caring for these children. Pick them up, supervise them, provide daycare, whatever. Babysitting. Think about your family and family members, and here's my question to you. Who are they doing these things for? Are they doing it for the children only? Or are they doing them for you? Or are they doing it for both? Who are they helping? The children? You? Or both? And please put the answer in the chat.
Okay, Carmen, Tawny, and Caroline all respond with both.
Okay. Yeah, it's almost unanimous. Okay. Have you gotten any responses, Candy, where they just said for the children?
Actually, Cindy says they are doing it mostly for me.
Okay. All right. Anybody else just have for the children?
Nope.
Okay. All right. The reason why I'm saying that is because it's important that you help the extended family and your friends adapt, because basically they're doing it for you. They're making these adaptations for you. They're helping the children out, but vicariously the children are being helped through you. Therefore, it's very important that they know why you took the children into your home, because the reason why you took them in